What is up, guys? This is PC Gaming 300 back for another gaming PC build, and for this gaming PC build I'm going with a gaming PC for under $700. Now this is a very good gaming PC for the price, and currently is probably the best gaming PC which you can build for this price. Now with this gaming PC you should be able to max out pretty much all games for under $700. The actual retail price for this gaming PC is $684.93, so it's just under $700. Now, when I was coming up with this build, I wasn't really looking towards a specific price point. I was really just looking at the cheapest gaming PC which I can build that can still max out pretty much all games. This price point is pretty much the sweet spot for gaming PCs because it's fairly inexpensive so that anyone can afford it, or not anyone, but most people can afford it, but it still has very high performance. Now, before I continue on, I just want to let you know that all the links will be in the description to the parts which I mentioned, and also I have two disclaimers before I start this video. So my first disclaimer would be that I'm not responsible for any discontent with the parts that with the parts in this video, and if you ever have any computer failure, it is not my fault. It is your job to do your research and for the parts shown in the video. Now with that, I am 99.9% sure these parts are compatible, and all of these parts have very good reviews and should work fine. But if you ever have any problems, you can leave a comment in the description and I can reply and maybe help you, but it's never my fault because you're supposed to be doing the research. Now for my second disclaimer is that this build, I'm actually doing this in May 2014, even though it is technically April 31st, but this build is for May 2014. So 6 months from now, this may not be the best gaming PC build for this price, but I will be updating these PC builds like this one whenever I can ever build a better PC for the price. So a year or two from now, don't be posting a comment saying something like this is a terrible gaming PC, because of course it is, because it's 2 years old. So before I waste any more time, let's get on to the build. Now for the processor, we went with an AMD FX 6300. This may just be the best value processor as it's only $120. It comes on the AM3 Plus socket. It's a 6-core processor clocked at 3.5 GHz and can be turbo boosted up to 4.1 GHz. It also has 14 megabytes of cache, and overall is just very, very good for the price, and definitely good enough as it has high clock speed, lots of cache, and 6 cores. So once again, a steal for $120. Now for the motherboard, we went with the ASRock 980D E3 motherboard. This motherboard comes in at $70. It's an ATX board. It of course has USB 3.0 support. It has 4 DIMM slots, so lots of room for your RAM, and it supports up to 32 GB of RAM, which is definitely more than enough. And one of my favorite things about this motherboard is that it has a great compatibility because it has 2 SATA 6 ports and 6 SATA 3 ports. Now, what I really like, since it has more, is that it has more SATA 3 ports than SATA 6 ports, even though it has SATA 6 ports, is because we are slowly moving into the age of SSDs, where SSDs are almost becoming a standard even on the cheaper computers. So this motherboard is going to be very good for future-proof. So even though a lot of traditional hard drives are still on SATA 3 interface, so you'll be fine with that. Now the one disadvantage with this motherboard is that it does not have a PCI Express 3.0 slot. Now this is not because they just decided not to put it even for a price like $70. It's just because all AM3 Plus socket supported motherboards do not have support for PCI Express 3.0. I do not know why this is, but do not worry. Even though it only has a PCI Express 2.0 slot, 3.0 interface graphics cards which will still work, and you won't really see any performance change because even the most high-powered graphics cards do not take up the full bandwidth of 2.0 itself. So 3.0 isn't too much of a benefit, except being future-proof, I guess you could say. Now moving on with the RAM, we went with Crucial Ballistic Sport 8GB of DDR3 RAM. This RAM comes in at $70. It's clocked at 1600 MHz, which is a decent speed. It's good for gaming, good for daily computing. Now for a gaming PC, you don't really need much more. I would definitely recommend at least 1333 MHz, but you don't really need much more than that for gaming, unless of course you're playing with an integrated graphics card, because then you're going to be using system shared memory, so you will need faster memory. So it's obviously 8GB, which is more than enough RAM, and since it is only one single stick of RAM, you can add 3 more of these, and you can easily upgrade it all the way to 32GB because, of course, we have 4 DIMM slots on our computer. Now for the graphics card, we went with a EVGA GeForce GTX 660 Super Clocked Edition. This is a very good graphics card. This GPU comes in at $235. It also comes, if you buy it right now from Newegg, you also get a free copy of Watch Dogs for free, which is a very good game, which has some hype with it, and it's basically a $60 game, which you're pretty much getting for free. The core clock of this GPU is 1046 MHz, which is very good, and it can be turbo boosted or boosted to 1111 MHz, which is definitely good enough. Now, it also has 960 CUDA cores, which is very good, so you won't have to worry about any loading screens. Because obviously 960 CUDA cores, you'll be pretty much processing everything pretty fast. And if you're coming from an AMD graphics card, that, if you don't know what that is, it's basically the same thing as stream processors, so you don't have to worry. It's just a different name because it's a different brand. And also with this graphics card, you're getting 3 GB of video RAM, which is tons of video RAM, which is very good. And here's my favorite part about this this graphics card. This graphics card has a ridiculous memory speed of 6008 MHz, which is amazing speed, definitely good enough for gaming, which is very good. So you're going to be getting some very good graphics with this graphics card. It's also on the DDR5 platform and has a 192-bit interface, which is definitely good enough. This graphics card also has DirectX 12, and even though this won't really matter to us because we only have one PCI Express slot, it is also SLI ready, but obviously that won't matter to us. And this GPU also has one HDMI and DisplayPort and 2 DVI ports. Now moving on with the hard drive, we went with the Western Digital Caviar Blue. This hard drive comes in at $60. It's a 1TB hard drive, so lots of room for your games, programs, files, and your OS. It has a 7200 RPM speed, which is pretty speedy, pretty much just the minimum you can, or the standard for hard drives, so it's definitely nothing close to an SSD, but 7200 RPM is pretty much all you need for a gaming PC. It also has 64 MB of cache, which I forgot to mention, but cache isn't too important for gaming as long as you have at least 16. Now for the power supply, we went with the Corsair CX750. This is at a very good price. It comes in at $60, and it's not like it's a cheap power supply because this is very good quality. It's coming from maybe the best power supply manufacturer out there for Corsair. Obviously 750 watts. It's also 80+ bronze certified, so it's pretty energy efficient. It's Crossfire and SLI ready, even though that won't matter because we only have one PCI Express slot. It's very quiet, of course. Corsair power supplies are known to be very quiet, and it's very reliable, of course, at a great price. The one negative about this power supply is that it is not modular, so cable management will be a little bit messy for you, but that's not really a huge deal. It's just a bit of an inconvenience. Now for the case, we went with the Fractal Design Core 3000. This case comes in at $70. It's a mid-tower case, so you have lots of room to build in. It has 7 expansion slots, so tons of room for your external and internal drives. Now I don't really have this in front of me, but I believe it has 5 internal drives for your hard drives and SSDs, and 2 external drives for your DVD drives. And this case is also USB 3.0 ready. It has 2 USB 3.0 ports and 2 USB 2.0 ports and some audio ports as well. And of course all Fractal cases are known for very good cooling performance. This case comes with one 120mm fan, which is once again very good for cooling, and 2 140mm fans. So this computer is going to be very quiet. Now with that, it also has a washable mesh for good airflow, so if there's ever a lot of dust, you can easily just pop that off and just clean it a bit. So lots of airflow. You won't need to get a third-party fan from another company because you won't really need it. And once again, for this price, of course, it has very good features and is very reliable. Now those are the core components for your build. The one other thing you'll obviously need is your operating system. Now Windows 7 or Windows 8 you can get for about $100 from Newegg. Of course, I didn't add this into the actual build price because a lot of people just have Windows 7 or Windows 8 discs, and you can get an OS for free, of course, with SteamOS and Linux. And yeah, that's pretty much your whole gaming PC build. Now, this is obviously a very good price. Hope you guys enjoy your gaming PC for under $700. Hope you guys found this video informative. Leave a like, subscribe, share, favorite. Hope you guys had a wonderful day, and I will see you guys next time.